But then their family took a turn through a personal tragedy, and in order to help his wife Gwen through that, they decided to go to a small group that were going through the consecration according to St. Louis de Montfort. So he thought it might help her. But really it was during that time of that consecration they realized this is not a political battle, it's a spiritual one. So only spiritually are we going to be able to win the battle. And so that was the turning point before they went to Fatima. So yeah, Our Lady turned his direction.
It's
so
tremendous.
Yeah. So the follow-up to that is, why is Fatima important and the message of Our Lady of Fatima so relevant for our times?
Yeah, so of course it's important for us to remember the historical context in which the apparitions at Fatima happened. The constitutional monarchy had been overthrown, and the nation of Portugal was in the grip of a virulently anti-Catholic and anti-clerical regime almost immediately. And this is just before the apparitions happen. Divorce is legalized. Cremation becomes something which is not just permitted but expected. And of course in those days cremation was different from now. It was associated with a kind of atheistic, anti-resurrection kind of understanding. The Jesuits were kicked out, monasteries were confiscated. It was a time of very, very great upheaval. Not only that, of course the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia was taking place in 1917 as well, and so there was just a lot on the move. And it was at the beginning of what would end up to be the bloodiest and most violent century of human history, when Pope St. John Paul II, who was himself very devoted to Fatima, emerged on the loggia of St. Peter. Remember, he quoted St. Peter's after his election as Pope. He quoted Jesus, "Be not afraid." And this is because he had the intuition, John Paul II did, that the 20th century, as violent as it had been, as full of blood as it had been, would be remembered not first and foremost for its violence or its bloodshed, but for its fear. That it was a century that was enveloped in fear. And because Jesus has conquered death, we don't have to be afraid. And so Our Lady's message at Fatima, it contained dire predictions. It also contained a sweetness of promise, a concern and a closeness of heaven with earth, of the Blessed Mother and her Son with the human race, a warning about repentance, even for little Francisco, who needed to say many rosaries, and then he would be, you know what I mean, right? You know, but for the whole human race.